Next up is universal AP priming. Now, this is a new feature. I'm just going to come out and say this. Not a very popular feature. When it initially came out, major issues with it. That's calmed down a little bit. So let's dive into this a little bit. All right. First off, I wanted to let you know what this looks like. If your AP is not universally primed, you will see a cycle between red, green, and off. That is the light cycle. Okay, red, green, and off, depending on your model. Could be a blue in there. But what this means is your AP is set for universal configuration. It is not country specific. There's not a region assigned to it. It's not assigned to Europe. It's not assigned to Africa. It's not assigned to the United States. It's universal. We don't want that. We want a specific region because of regional differences in the spectrums used, okay? There's huge difference between how Europe runs its wireless and the United States runs its wireless. You want to be specific on the AP. You want to prime it for its region. Out of the box, universal domain, meaning it's meant it can run anywhere. But we don't want that. We want specific regulatory domains in use. United States, Canada, Mexico, wherever we want. Now there's two modes here. We can do manual or automatic priming. Automatic priming requires, absolutely requires, that you have one or more AP that has already been manually primed. Manual priming requires a mobile device of some type. Like your smartphone or an iPad, and you need to download an app. We'll talk more about that later. So here, straight out of the box, your AP is going to be assigned to a universal domain. If you do not assign a regional, you're going to get a disco light show. Red, green, off, red, green, off, red, green, off. Your AP will work just fine. If you set it up, it'll work. But you want to assign it a regional domain to get those disco lights off. So let's dive more into this process. First off, manual priming. So this is the manual configuration steps. So first off, AP joins as a universal domain. You can see that as UXAP. I'm going to jump out to my environment a little and we'll show you where this is. So here, we're going to look at my wireless. Ooh, hang on a second. Let me re-authenticate. Always like, so here I have two APs. I'm going to open this up. You can see we're looking at all this, but when we jump, we need to look in the advanced section, right here in the advanced section. I'm going to scroll down. Do you guys see anything? Global config, air. Where is it? Country code, right there, US. Universal prime status, NDP, which means this was primed through NDP. If I go to my other one, NDP is a protocol that shares that information, by the way, the regional information. I'm going to jump to advanced. You can see that this was primed through the web app, and the country code is US. Remember, you wouldn't see that if my APs were not primed. You would see what is it? UXAP. -UXAP. So step 2, enable universal domain support on the wireless LAN controller. You can see here, universal prime status, discovery protocol. It just depends on your model. My model's a little different, but you would see that in some models. Universal prime support, make sure that that's enabled. Another thing you're going to want to do is priming through the Cisco Air Provision App. This is an actual app on your mobile device. You find it through your App Store or your Google iOS Store, Google Play Store, whatever store you use for your mobile device. You're looking for the Cisco Air Provision App, okay? Now what this does is it uses your GPS of your phone to actually associate you with the region. So that's why they use a mobile phone or a mobile device. If you don't have GPS on your phone, that's fine. What they do is they use cell tower information to give you your region. So you download the Air Provision app and you log in with your CEC credentials. Now, had a lot of luck using the default here. A lot of people used to have to use their Cisco service credentials. You don't any longer, okay? So use the default. If the default doesn't work, try the default of the AP, Cisco and Cisco. I've had that work in some of the forums as well. This was one of the big issues. This just didn't work well out of the box. So use the default out of the box. It should get you there, okay? It'll ask you, use default credentials. Go ahead and click yes. So it'll also connect to your SSID. Now, it's really important when you're doing this prime process, all right? Make sure you're connected to a single AP that needs the universal prime, okay? The priming. If you have lots of APs out there and you're connecting, you're not sure which one you're connected to. You have to be connected to the AP you want to prime. Remember, we only have to prime one of these in the process, and then we can worry about the rest later. I'll show you how to do it. But we have to prime at least one AP out of the box. So here's how we do it. We download that Cisco Air Provision. Make sure you are connected to the AP you want to prime. Use the default credentials. Once that's done, you'll see this screen. Once you see that screen, you're home free. Okay? It'll show you all the information you need, the product ID, the regulatory domain, the configuration, and then it'll come back with the correct domain. After a little bit, it'll process and come back with the correct domain. Once you've done that, your AP is primed. Now, once you've primed one AP in your environment, it uses a protocol called NDP. NDP sends and receives messages from neighboring APs within your environment. So all those connected to the same wireless LAN controller. Our wireless neighbors, that's what they're called, a neighbor. So our neighbors within our same wireless LAN controller, if any one of those is primed, I just need one that is primed, I can now exchange that regional information. And that regional information allows me to automatically prime the system. Now, if automatically priming is available, the universal AP receives its information, reboots, and rejoins the controller as a primed AP. Now, this information goes out. Now, this NDP or Neighbor Discovery Protocol message goes out, and it shares the region with neighboring devices. Now, I've had a little bit of issue with this in the past. If you can't get it to work, you must manually prime an AP. I don't like that so much. I've had success by rebooting APs that aren't automatically priming. So I reboot the AP. Something about rejoining the wireless LAN controller often sets off that NDP message that allows me to share the region. Automatic priming is unavailable or does not work. Like I said, you have to manually prime it. Now, those of you who were early adapters and got stuck when this was first released, this universal priming, the process is easier, right? You don't need your service ID or your Cisco service ID in order to make this work. It's not linked to your accounts anymore. So there's a big difference from what it was in the beginning. If you guys haven't already primed your devices, you just said, I quit, I don't want to do it. You can now prime your devices fairly easily. Just get that Cisco app, the priming app. Let me show you again one last time what that is. It is called the Cisco Air Provision App. Okay. Once you have it on your device, you can use your mobile device to actually prime your APs. Once you prime one AP in your environment, automatic priming should take care of it from